Welcome to the newest collaboration between Kalapriya and the Chicago Children's Choir. A collaboration that celebrates the many successful movements for justice and prepares our peaceful warriors to fight the good fight for a better world. To fight injustice with compassion and love, which John Lewis taught us. Kalapriya's mission is to build bridges and share traditions between the many ethnicities and traditions we celebrate right here in America. Kalapriya could not have wished for a better partner. Dr. Gauri Ramnarayan and Nikki Sekhar created the story and script to tell this truly American story. Ms. Judy Hansen, Senior Director for the CCC, joined the team in making the selection of the music and preparing the singers and narrators for this evening's program. I introduce you to the amazing Ms. Hansen and ask her to share her vision with you. It has been a great joy to be her partner.
Just listen. Music. The power of music. Chicago Children's Choir was founded at the height of the Civil Rights Movement in 1956 to bring diverse youth together through music to create global ambassadors, really to create a more harmonious world. How? How does music do that? I'd love everyone to put your hand on your heart right now. You feel your heartbeat. That heartbeat, the blood running through our veins, that is our common humanity. We all have the ability to feel. We feel beat, rhythm, melodies, rising and falling, harmonies, conflict and resolution. It relates to our lives. All of the arts allow us to understand ourselves, each other, and the world. We only have one opportunity tonight to experience this with these people assembled here. Savor the moment. It's been too long. We've been isolated for a long time. And it's going to continue. Take this in tonight. Allow yourself to feel your common humanity. And in our 65th anniversary year, as we continue to inspire and change lives, we hope that you are inspired and changed tonight. I'd like to introduce DeAndre Dunnigan.
Good evening, everybody. As Ms. Hansen said, my name is DeAndre Dunnigan, and I'm this year's Voice of Chicago Singers Council President. Thank you guys so much for being here with us tonight, and who you'll see performing before you today are select members from our top performing ensemble, Voice of Chicago. However, these singers make up only a small fraction of the thousands of kids that we serve all over the city of Chicago. And the choir for me has always been a place where I can truly be myself, especially during the isolating times of the pandemic and during the Black Lives Matter protests. The choir gave me a place where I could express my grief, my joy, my anger, and my love. I really sincerely hope that you all enjoy the program tonight and really connect to the music and feel the music and connect to all of the singers on stage tonight. Thank you and enjoy the show.
Those who have said be patient and wait, we must say that we cannot be patient. We do not want our freedom gradually, but we want to be free now. We are tired. We are tired of being beaten by policemen. We're tired of seeing our people locked up in jail over and over again. And then you holler, be patient. How long can we be patient? We want our freedom and we want it now. We do not want to go to jail, but we will go to jail if this is the price we must pay for love, brotherhood, and true peace. I appeal to all of you to get in this great revolution that is sweeping this nation. Get in and stay in the streets of every city every village and hamlet of this nation until true freedom come, until the revolution of 1776 is complete. We must get in this revolution and complete the revolution. For in the Delta of Mississippi, in Southwest Georgia, in the Black Belt of Alabama, in Harlem, in Chicago, Detroit, Philadelphia, and all over this nation, the black masses on the march for joy and freedom.
Who is a tireless advocate for social change?
John Lewis.
Who is a vital figure in the civil rights movement?
John Lewis.
Who staged lunch counter sit-ins and organized the Freedom Riders?
John Lewis.
Who held on to love, compassion, empathy, and forgiveness even as he faced harsh battles, jail time, police brutality, and the ugliest outbursts of rage?
John Lewis.
John Lewis left the world in 2020, but he left his voice behind. And what does that voice tell us? It tells us to build a relationship with a higher power so that we can see how foolish we are to only notice the chasms between us. Each of us belongs to the same community, the human community, and we celebrate our kinship when we love, not hate, when we trust, not fear, and when we work toward peace, not war. And most of all, John Lewis tells us to get into good trouble, trouble that changes the fabric of society and builds our communities up. But wait, John Lewis warns us too. He warns us that to create a better society, we must hold on to our principles at any cost. We must be ready to sacrifice and to put our communities before ourselves. How? John Lewis showed us how, not by his words, but through his actions. If standing for his principles meant that he'd have to stand alone, then alone he would stand, alone he would walk, alone he would burn, and alone he would shine. And today, John Lewis shines for us.
We need a word to lead us through our misery and strife. We need a hand to guide us through the night, 'cause we need your shining light. Be strong, keep your head up high, and just look to the sky. We need a word to guide us to your love. We need your love to lead the others through, to get them close to you. We need your peace to take away their fears, and to wipe away their tears. Be strong, keep hope alive, and just look to the sky. We need a word. We need a word. We need a word. We need a word to guide us to your love. We need you, we need you. We need you to take the pain away. We need you, we need you. We need you to send your love today. We need you now to take the pain away. We need you now to send your love today. We need you now to take the pain away. We need you now to send your love today. We need you now to take the pain away. We need you now to send your love today. We need you now to take the pain away. We need you now to send your love today. We need a word. We need a word. We need a word. cholo, akna cholo, akna cholo, akna cholo, re choli kordak shne kyuna shinobe, akna cholo re. My mind, speak the Lord. Oh, be not afraid, speak the Lord.
যদি কেউ কথা না কয় ওরে ওরে ও আভাগা কেউ কথা না কয় যদি সবাই তাকে মুখ ফিরায় সবাই করে ভয় যদি সবাই তাকে মুখ ফিরায় সবাই করে ভয় তবে
কোরআন খুলে
তবে কোরআন খুলে
মুখ ফুটে তোর মনের কথা না বললে অতই মুখ ফুটে তোর মনের কথা না বললে যদি তোর কান শুনে কেউ না
সে তবে একলা চলো রে Open thy mind, burn alone. Be not afraid, shine alone, shine alone. Open thy Be not afraid, shine alone, shine
There is an indefinable, mysterious power that pervades everything. I feel it, though I do not see it. It is this unseen power which makes itself felt and yet defies all proof, because it is so unlike all that I perceive through my senses. It transcends the senses, but it is possible to reason out the existence of God to a limited extent. Even in ordinary affairs, we know that people do not know who rules or why and how he rules. And yet they know that there is a power that certainly rules. There is an unalterable law governing everything and every being that exists or lives. It is not a blind law, for no blind law can govern the conduct of living beings. That law, then, which governs all life is God. Law and the lawgiver are one. I may not deny the law or the lawgiver because I know so little about it or him.
Who taught John Lewis to use religion as a tailwind? As a practical strategy to reach thousands of people, to motivate thousands of people? Mahatma Gandhi, of course. Who inspired John Lewis to remember Gandhi's movement of Satyagraha, the force of truth, powered by ahimsa, nonviolence? Martin Luther King Jr., of course. The light shines bright on the right path when John Lewis hears Martin Luther King Jr. on the radio. Like Gandhi, King's voice answered the call of God, the call of the destitute, the call of the oppressed. Like Gandhi, King was a spiritual guide and a political leader, the face of the civil rights struggle. Here was a Moses to lead Lewis and his community out of the desert of despair and into the promised land of action. What struck King and through him John Lewis was this: Gandhi's nonviolence was not a passive peacekeeping ploy. It was active resistance. It was a sword that cut without wounding. It was an unshakable faith with two tenets.
1. Every single human being on planet Earth was part of one single race. 2. Every single human being on planet Earth has the same spirit within. And therefore, all supreme powers are nothing but the same truth, the same love, the same compassion. Political or social freedom is only part of the total freedom that Gandhi envisioned. And how is that total freedom to be attained? When, and only when, caste, class, creed, color, race, and every other institution dividing one human from another is destroyed completely. Martin Luther King Jr. and John Lewis could fully understand why Gandhi said that those whose ambitions included the needs of others, those who could fight aggression without aggression, those who could feel the pain of others as their own and make sacrifices for others, they were the righteous.
Maitri bhajata akhilari chetri. Maitri bhajata akhilari chetri. Atmatva deva paranapi pashyata. Atmatva deva paranapi pashyata.
Yukam tyajata, Svatam tyajata. Yukam tyajata, Svatam tyajata.
Tyajata pareshwa gramama gramana. Tyajata pareshwa gramama gramana. Maitrim bhajata akhila hi jetri. Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for. And no religion too. Imagine all the heroes sharing all the world.
Janani prithvi kama dukhaste. Janani prithvi kama dukhaste. Janako devaha sakhala dayalu. Janako devaha sakhala dayalu. Yadadada, dayatvam janata. Yadadada, dayatvam janata. Shriyo bhuyat sakhala janana. Shriyo bhuyat sakhala janana. Shriyo bhuyat, Shriyo bhuyat, Shriyo bhuyat sakhala janana. Shriyo bhuyat sakhala janana. Shriyo bhuyat sakhala janana. Shriyo bhuyat sakhala janana. Sakhala
It was a movement that recognized in the first instance, that each one of us had power in the very gift of life, and that we had to use the gift of life that's a precious gift from creation. We have to use that gift of life and exploit it on the noble sides of humanity, to learn to be as alive as we could become, to discover that with the gift of life is the gift of love, and that love is the energy of the universe and is the creative force of the universe, and that if we want to have a struggle, then movement must come out of that first. It cannot come out of a culture of violence. It cannot come out of a culture that has for too long pretended to be a land of the free and a home of the brave, while doing the most horrible kinds of things and developing a torturous history that has poisoned the airways in the United States in ways that we do not know. And then in addition to that, if we use a struggle that comes out of the gift of life, the gift of love, the gift of truth, that has to be essentially a nonviolent movement. And a nonviolent movement requires a sense of reason that says, if you want social change, you have to be and you have to do the things that produce social change. If you want justice, you must become just people. A struggle for justice must be itself a justice struggle. If you want freedom and access, then your movement must not reflect the enemies of human life, but must reflect equality and liberty and the dignity of all life.
Yes.
Lewis asks himself, how can I be that righteous man? How can I get into good trouble and turn the ideal into the real? How can I bring equality to the oppressed? How can I build my beloved community? These were goals that could be reached, but only by destroying the Jim Crow system, an abomination in the light of the teachings of the Bible he so fervently believed in. But how to destroy it? And to replace it with what? Luckily, Lewis and his friends had the man whom Martin Luther King Jr. called the best teacher of nonviolence in America, James Lawson. Lawson had gone to India to the Gandhi ashram. He had seen how Gandhi had utilized nonviolence and sacrifice to battle against British oppression, how he had harnessed nonviolent yet disruptive strategies in massive rallies, boycotts, marches, and in his own hunger strikes, all to force British colonial rulers to leave India. Lawson thought those same methods could overturn segregation in America. He trained student activists in 3 tenets of nonviolence: physical courage, moral conviction, and the extraordinary strength to forgive those who attack you.
The year 1960. The place, Woolworth's department store in Tennessee. Action. John Lewis and friends walk in, sit at the counter and ask to be served. Reaction. Ketchup poured over the protesters, burning cigarettes crushed against their necks, cursing, spitting, punching, kicking, thrashing, and arrests.
Hurt and bleeding, the victims refused to stoop to hit back. They refused to taint their sit-ins with violence. They know the more they are beaten, the more they expose the inhumanity and moral corruption of their attackers. Inspired by Lawson and King, John Lewis and friends launched SNCC, the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. It grows and grows, becomes vocal and vital in the fight for civil rights. Head held high, spirit unbowed, turning the other cheek, stunning the world. For they must do what Gandhi taught, what Lawson preached, what King believed, what God showed them.
There's a train coming. Don't need no baggage. Just get on board. All you need is faith to hear the diesel's coming. Don't need no ticket. Just thank the Lord. People get ready. There's a train coming. Don't need no baggage. Just get on board. All you need is faith to hear the diesel's coming. Don't need no ticket. Just thank the Lord. People get ready. There's a train joining, picking up passengers from coast to coast. Faith is the key. Open your doors and board them. There's hope for all of those who love the most. People get ready. There's a train coming. Don't need no baggage. Just get on board. All you need is faith to hear the diesel's coming. Don't need no ticket. Just thank the Lord. People get ready. There's a train coming. Don't need no baggage. Just get on board. All you need is faith to hear the diesel's coming. Don't need no ticket. Just thank the Lord. People get ready. There's a train coming. Don't need no baggage. Just get on board. All you need is faith to hear the diesel's coming. Don't need no ticket. Just thank the Lord. Don't need no ticket. Just thank the Lord.
In our work, in the issue of the environment, the issue of pesticides, and the issue of protecting workers on their job site, that we really cannot hope for any action from government. That if it's going to be done, it has to be done at the marketplace. Public action is going to be where we're going to see some results, and that's been the history of the union for 30 years. We can't hope. We don't have the money, the influence, the political power, because most of our workers are not even citizens. So we can't hope to influence politicians. The agricultural lobby is extremely effective and powerful, and we have the chemical industry and the oil industry all involved in one. Very difficult for us. We have to go to the marketplace and then take them on there, and we've been able to beat them before, and I think we'll do it again.
We are human beings whose sweat and sacrifice brings food to the tables of millions and millions of people across America and around the world.
John Lewis's lunch counter sit-ins, the freedom bus rides, Martin Luther King's dreams of transforming society through nonviolence, Mahatma Gandhi's boycott of British goods, and the Indian struggle for independence. Together, they create the right moment to inspire the right man, Cesar Chavez.
Born into an industrial agricultural system, Cesar Chavez finds himself, his family, and thousands like them victims of systematic exploitation, gathering crops for endless hours under the burning sun, picking grapes for criminally low pay, with no benefits, no time to eat, no time to care for family, and no time to care for their health. Chavez knows he has to galvanize himself to fight the good fight, crush the injustice which was crushing the laborers in the farm.
He joins the CSO, the Community Service Organization, to learn about multiple forms of injustice operating in the U.S., to arrive at concrete solutions and direct relief for the suffering community. In 1962, Chavez leaves the CSO to return to the fields.
Chavez and his organization launch historical strikes and boycotts, picket grocery stores selling grapes cultivated and picked under unfair and unjust working conditions. They take pragmatic measures. They set up a donation-based credit union for workers to build credit and financial history.
Religion did not propel Chavez, social necessity did. But Chavez drew his own spiritual force from the faith that violence would sully the movement's moral standing, and from his Gandhi belief in hunger strikes as a penance to be performed for any outburst of violence.
No, said Chavez fiercely, we don't need violence to succeed. What we need is a grassroots rebellion to trickle both upwards and downwards for immediate change and urgent relief for the sufferers. Always, always. We need to fight from the high ground against those who oppress us from the low ground of injustice and inhumanity.
Candela, candela le damos, si quiere candela, candela le damos. Candela, candela le damos, si quiere candela, candela le damos. Hay candela para arriba, hay candela para abajo, candela, candela le damos. Candela, candela le damos, si quiere candela, candela le damos. Ay, si llega la guardia, candela le damos, candela, candela le damos. Candela, candela le damos, si quiere candela, candela le damos. Ay, candela para arriba, ay, candela para abajo, candela, candela le damos. Candela, candela le damos, si quiere candela, candela le damos. Ay, si llega la guardia, candela le damos, candela, candela le damos. Candela, candela le damos, si quiere candela, candela le damos. Ay, candela para arriba, ay, candela le damos, candela, candela le damos. Candela, candela le damos, si quiere candela, candela le damos. Candela, candela le damos, si quiere candela, candela le damos.
I've been trying to get up here all day for your gay brothers and your gay sisters in jail. Did you do anything for them? No. You all tell me to go and hide my tail between my legs. I will not longer put up with this. I have been beaten. I have had my nose broken. I have been thrown in jail. I have lost my job. I have lost my apartment for gay liberation. And you all treat me this way? I do not believe in a revolution, but you all do. I believe in the gay power. I believe in us getting our rights, or else I would not be out there fighting for our rights.
You here today? Darling, I want my gay rights now. How will this affect your job? Darling, I don't have a job. I'm on welfare. I have no intention of getting a job as long as this country discriminates against homosexuals.
Revolution now! Give me a G! Give me an A! Give me a Y! Give me a P! Give me an O! Give me a W! Give me an E! Give me an R! Gay power! Louder gay power!
You can lock yourself in a closet in a fine meat stove, but it really doesn't matter if you ain't got soul.
Friends, let me tell you a story. The story of two human beings cast out of the world from the moment they were born. A story about their attempts to find themselves with malice to none, with hatred of none, but inviting malice from many, hatred from so many, all for just trying to carve out a place for themselves under the sun with dignity and self-respect. As John Lewis embarks on his journey to build his beloved community, Marsha P. Johnson, age 17, flees New Jersey suburbia, ends up in Manhattan, becomes famous as a transgender nonconforming artist and drag queen. Sylvia Rivera, age 11, arrives in Greenwich Village, trailing a history of sexual assaults. Even her own mothers attempt to poison her. Abandoned by family who don't accept them for being different, they become friends. And then, in 1969, they fight back against a routine police raid at the Stonewall Inn. They ignite an entire community. They stand up and refuse to be oppressed any longer. They become the fiercest champions for queer rights in history. However, everywhere, Marcia and Sylvia are unrecognized, ostracized, booed at. By whom? By white gays. For what? For being too loud, for being too femme, for being too brown. But inhumane treatment does not make Sylvia and Marcia lose their humanity. They continue to help trans people, get them off the street, give them a place to call home. But when Marcia is killed in 1992 and her body dumped in the Hudson River, Sylvia loses her way. She spirals uncontrollably. Her best friend and mother is gone. Where should she turn? What is to become of their dream? Sylvia stands out at the very pier where Marcia's body was found and calls out to her for strength, for guidance, for light. And we call out with her.
I go down to the river. I go down to the river. I go down to the river. I go down to the river, down to the river. Once a day I go down to the river to meditate. I go down and I think about There was something radiant about her, something peaceful about her. The way she would dress with her hair full of flowers, the way she would walk to melt away the hours. She was our mother. She was everything. But Marcia is gone, and there's no one left. Marcia plugged in the light for me. 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 Marcia plugged in the light. Marcia's gone and there's no one left. Marcia's gone and there's no one left. Marcia's gone and there's no one left. 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 There's no one left.
I would come home and ask my mother, my father, my grandparents, my great-grandparents, why? They would say, that's the way it is. Don't get in the way, don't get in trouble. But one day in 1955, 15 years old in the 10th grade, I heard about Rosa Parks. I heard the words of Martin Luther King Jr. on old radio. The action of Rosa Parks, the words and leadership of Martin Luther King Jr. inspired me to find a way to get in the way. And I got in trouble, good trouble, necessary trouble. As a student in college, we studied the way of peace, the way of love, the way of nonviolence. We studied what Gandhi attempted to do in South Africa, what he accomplished in India.
But we will march with the spirit of love and with the spirit of dignity that we have shown here today. We must say, wake up, America, wake up, for we cannot stop, and we will not and cannot be patient.
We stand up for the dream, all for one and one for all. We will not stop fighting in the streets. We will enter the houses of lawmaking and governance, as John Lewis did. We will stand for our principles with reason and passion, as John Lewis did. We will make laws that change the world, as John Lewis did. Laws based not only on justice, but based on human concern for all. Laws which make us our neighbor's keepers. Neighbors of every class, creed, color, race, gender, and sexuality. So say it with me. We will speak up.
We will speak up.
We will not give up.
We will not give up.
We will not give in.
We will not give in.
We will make good noise.
We will make good noise.
And we will make good trouble.
And we will make good trouble.
I've been up and I've been down when there was no one around. I had to look inside myself to find another route. Even when the skies look gray, I will always find my way. The truth will set us free in spite of what we see. There is no valley that we can't cross. I've been through the desert, I've walked through the fire. Love is the strongest of all. That's why we are still here. We are still strong, sending our message to every home. And yes, we have the faith, even in mountains. Humble today, we will still be here. We have made it through the years with our voices loud and clear. It's hard to find another place where we're all hand in hand. Just keep both feet on the ground. Don't let them tear you down. Wash away the tears you've cried and push your fears aside. There is no valley that we can't cross. I've been through the desert, I've walked through the fire. Love is the strongest of all. That's why we are still here. We are still strong, sending our message to
So proud of them. I'd like to introduce all of our amazing soloists tonight. Anaya Chase Mayfield, Amber Cloud, Whitney Shirtliff, Michaela Oscar, Zach Stone, Mia Guzman, Ren Fetcher, Fatima White, Sydney Nelkin, Gretchen Steele, Lauren Cusick. And I'd like to thank all of our narrators for taking us through that journey and telling us the story. Olivia Knack, Alessandra Mafrici, Whitney Shirtliff, Aiden Chung, Nicholas Hong, Amanda Smithovis, and DeAndre Dunnigan. And I must acknowledge alum of the choir, Mr. Nicky Shaker. I watched Nikki grow from this big. There's nothing more rewarding for a teacher than to see their students soar, spread their wings and soar.
And most of all, Miss Judy Hansen.